few of these, especially the cell a little bit further north. You can see some of the locations here. Wherever you're seeing that purple color, that indicates the potential for probably some small-sized hail. We're not anticipating large hail at this point, but it does show that the strength of those storms, especially over portions of Knox County. So remember, we've got this severe thunderstorm warning. It includes part of Union County, Knox County, Granger County, Claiborne County as well. But the majority of the storms right now located into part of Knox County there, right near downtown and near Alice Bell Elementary School. You can see the torrential rainfall, gusty winds expected. Now, if we turn on our storm relative velocity here, there is some broad rotation. What we're looking at is where those red and green colors come together, and a little bit of some broad rotation here, I think, with both cells. Ken, do you tend to agree?
Yeah, and let's go ahead and switch over to the shear rate if we can, just to see if we're seeing anything different. What this does, it kind of clears up all the noise, and we're not seeing that telltale signature, Victoria, that this could be a tornado, but still something we have to keep an eye on, because these things that we've been watching here today, they're moving very quickly.
Yes.
So if you do have a warning in your area, just make sure you're in your safe area now.
Right.
As they're moving northeast at 50, it's not going to give you a lot of time
Right.
if this were to drop down and produce a quick spin up type tornado.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be seeing what we call a lowering or a wall cloud descending from this.
Right.
They can look quite scary, but
Yes.
it's from that wall cloud that you can see a tornado or a funnel that comes down. So don't even wait for that point. If you're under a warning, just go ahead and get inside.
Right, and we talked about it earlier today. You want to make sure, of course, that you know how to receive your weather alerts. Hopefully you got this one from our WAT weather app. Now, of course, that's where the severe thunderstorm warning is located, but there are a few other cells that we've been kind of keeping our eyes on. Looks like that one back near Caryville, Ken, has fallen apart a little bit, which is some good news. We also had this one up into portions of Claiborne County there near New Tazewell that's now crossing into Jackson, Kentucky. It's not looking as impressive as it was, maybe a little more impressive on the Jackson radar there, but still our main storms continue to be the ones that are right now into Knox County, especially that one right near Alice Bell Elementary.
And I would not be surprised if there's not some hail with that. That would make sense, right? Where the brighter pink is showing up, there could be some hail that's being produced from that as it's falling. And again, right there over Austin East, that little appendage that we're seeing, that's what's concerning. Maybe just put a track on that, Victoria, just a manual track. They're going to be moving fast, northeast at about 50 miles per hour. So maybe kind of hard to do here on the screen, but we'll do our best. Kind of giving an idea of where this storm could be heading. So North Hills right about now, the Muse, which is the area over there just near the zoo, the kids playground area there, Fair Garden Elementary right about now, Buffett Heights at 203, Freedom Christian Academy 203, and Spring Hill at 203 as well. Again, this is not a tornado per se, but it has that appearance anyway that we could be seeing one at any time. And again, severe thunderstorm warning has been issued with a possibility of a tornado. So that's again why they did this. At minimum, we could be seeing winds maybe 50, 60 miles per hour. Just heard from meteorologist Justin Kiefer. He said a 58 mile per hour wind gust earlier with this cell at McGee Tyson Airport. So yes, there could be some wind damage in itself.
For
could be
sure.
problematic with this.
And so I switched it over here to what we call our storm relative velocity. Again, that's just to give us an idea to see how the storm is rotating. You can see right here the red and greens. That indicates some broad rotation to me. I'm going to remove this tracker for a second. And if you look closely, there's some isolated areas there where the shear markers are trying to become a little bit brighter. Now, they don't maybe get located perfectly with where the storm is, but still, Ken, as you mentioned, the fact that it does have that little appendage kind of near Freedom Christian Academy, something we're going to watch. Now, they also have the severe thunderstorm warning for this storm up near Paulette Elementary School as well. Part of what I think is going to be hard, Ken, with these storms today is that they are moving so fast and they're developing so fast. So if they see them for a couple scans, look ominous, they'll put the warning on it. Whether or not they stay that way, still something we'll have to keep our eyes on.
And that's why you don't want to wait.
Right.
If you're under this warning, downtown Knoxville, you are clear, I would say, but areas up towards Blaine, we're getting up into Union, Granger County, you still need to be in your safe area now. Let's say areas west of Knoxville, kind of west of Anderson County, no more storms expected there, Victoria. So Cumberland, Morgan, Fentress, Scott counties, no more storms expected for you today. But that one is very interesting.
Yep.
They're right there along 640, so we're kind of over near near where the old mall was, Easttown Mall. You're familiar where that is. It's kind of right in that area, moving very quickly to the north and east. So Armada community, Antioch, make sure that you're in your safe areas. This is kind of pushing off to the north and east.
And switching there a little bit to our hail path, you can see that some of those locations there showing up in that darker purple color, that could be some small-sized hail. Of course, when it's safe to do so, make sure you submit your reports to us. Let us know if you're seeing anything. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning for part of Knox County, Union County, Claiborne County, and Granger County. That does continue until 2:45 this afternoon. So if you live near Alice Bell Elementary northward, going near Gibbs and Paulette into Maynardville, you want to make sure that you're in your safe space there as we continue to watch this storm.
And it looks like some of the strongest winds could be right along I-40, so kind of right there below the E in Alice Bell Elementary. And again, that scan is already updated, so now it's pushed east. So we're talking about Millertown Pike, again, not too far from where Easttown Mall usually was. That's Rutledge Pike, 11E, or 11W rather, that's right there underneath the Arminda community in Antioch, and that's where it's moving to the north and east. That potential, at least, of some 50-plus mile-per-hour winds. Possibly you may see that lowering. It's looking a little more ragged than what it did just a minute ago, but still, I don't like that little inflow you see right over the O in Millertown. Yeah, right through there. That's something we'll have to keep an eye on.
And looking ahead, Ken, to this storm to the north, also fallen apart a little bit, that one near Paulette Elementary. Remember, all of these they're hauling. They're moving at least 50 miles per hour to the northeast. So where we have that heavy rain right now near Paulette Elementary, Maynardville, you're getting in on some rain, but you're going to see the brunt of it probably move into your area pretty shortly as those storms continue to push to the north and east there. So those two cells, I still think this one is a little more potent at this point, but we'll have to keep our eyes on it.
Yeah, winds look a little less there. Maynardville Highway, they're between Paulette and Maynardville, about 40 miles per hour right now. Stronger storm is certainly going to be that one that's kind of just on the top end of the 640 perimeter that's moving right up Rutledge Pike, kind of up towards East Knox County Elementary, so right through there. Right, if there is any circulation or lowering, it's probably right over Millertown Pike, between that and Babley Road, if you're familiar with that area. So we're kind of getting up towards the Ritta community at this point.
And just for fun, Ken, watch what happens if we put on the future scan there. I mean, within an hour, these storms are so far north of us. You can see, I'm watching what you're saying there, Ken. There we go. You can see they really move fast.
Yeah, they're not going to stick around long.
So you are going to see the potential for some very heavy rain there with those cells. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning, continues till 2:45. Downtown Knoxville and points south, you guys are okay. You've already seen the heaviest rain and the storm has kind of moved out of your area. But we're still watching this potential where we see some broad rotation there, especially near that Adrian Burnett Elementary, the Antioch community. Still something to watch, Ken.
Yeah, I'd say right now the strongest winds are probably about 45, maybe 50 miles per hour, and it looks like it's right there around Babley Road, Millertown Pike, Rutledge Pike, right through there. That's probably where some of the strongest winds appear to be right at this time, Victoria. Probably the leading edge of that, kind of where the red and the green are right beside each other. So between East Knox County Elementary and the Arminda community, right through there is probably the leading edge of some of those gusty winds. And you're going to get some pretty heavy rainfall as well. It'll be brief,
right?
But you may have to pull over and be into a safe spot if you're driving till that cell passes by, just because of the wind itself and the heavy rainfall potential.
Now, they did go ahead, it looks like. Let's watch this one. This was the one that was in New Tazewell earlier, Ken. Let's just make sure.
So that's Lee County, Virginia now?
Keep an eye on it, yeah.
So no warning on that one, again, up in Lee County, Virginia. The only warning we have, pretty expansive warning that extends almost up through Claiborne County. In fact, it's just past the New Tazewell area. That warning that goes until what time did we say that was?
2:45.
2:45. So, yeah, pretty extensive area because, again, it's moving so fast.
Yeah.
Looks a little more ragged, thankfully, compared to what it was earlier, Victoria. But still, we don't want to let our guard down, again, since it's had a history of producing some 50 to almost 60 mile per hour winds down by the airport earlier.
Right. And also we are seeing, we saw some breaks of sunshine today. We had very warm air at midday. Some locations were in the mid-70s. So there certainly is some energy to get these storms to not just develop, but maybe to get them to rotate a little bit. So again, if you're under that severe thunderstorm warning, and if you're located really anywhere near Adrian Burnett north and eastward, so including Maynardville, Luttrell, all the way up into New Tazewell, you just want to make sure you're inside, get in your safe space now, because as Ken mentioned, sometimes those storms can tighten up pretty quick, and that's going to have to be something we keep our eyes on as we go into the rest of the afternoon. Just trying to make sure, Ken, we're covering our bases here. There's nothing else
to the south, which is good. Looks
Too
like we've got about
ominous.
1,000 people without power, which would make sense with these winds that have come through. Leaves are starting to bloom on some of the trees, so
Yep.
that's easily acts like a sail of a sailboat and can help push those trees over and can easily cause some power outages in some spots.
So I switched it over here to our shear markers. Again, right now they're all kind of coming up green. That just indicates to us some weak rotation. Nothing that's sticking out to me at this point. I think the storms have definitely died down a little.
Yes.
This is an interesting little shape, though, that's going on there. You can see that purple color. That's either torrential rainfall or the potential for maybe some very small hail. Looks like we may have been seeing some small hail as some of these storms move north and east. So
Right there as well on 640 over by the former East Town Mall area. Looked like there was probably some small hail with that. This is not the best type setup to see hail in
Right.
storms. We don't have a lot of cold air aloft. It's still very mild. We will say that everybody's still under a wind advisory, though, as we go
Yeah.
through the rest of the afternoon because of the gusty winds that we've seen and will
Right.
continue to see, really.
yeah, and I think even all the way into tomorrow, it's still going to be breezy at times, Ken. The front comes through, but it doesn't cool us down all too much tomorrow.
But
So
it will get a little cooler into the weekend. Not like the upper 70s we saw yesterday,
No.
but not a huge cool down coming up.
But again, if you're just joining us, we're tracking a severe thunderstorm warning. This is for portions of Knox County, Union County, also there Granger County, getting into part of Claiborne County. Now, near New Tazewell, you guys haven't seen this thunderstorm yet, but all these storms are moving to the northeast at about 50 miles per hour, and they do have a history of producing gusty winds as well as some very heavy rainfall. Rotation at this point still looks to be pretty broad across the area, but we'll have to keep our eyes on that there as well.
Yeah, again, not overly impressive as it was earlier.
Yeah.
Don't want to let our guard down, though, because it's still, again, it's had a history of producing 50 to nearly 60 mile per hour wind gust, and that is the definition of a severe thunderstorm.
Right.
Winds gusting 58 miles per hour or greater could produce some damage in itself.
Yeah.
Still there near Antioch, at least a little bit of an appendage that's showing up, so don't want to let our guard down yet, but there's some of the communities that could be impacted by this. Zacharytown around 212, Leah Springs 216, New Corinth around 221, Powder Springs the same, and then we're starting to get up into Granger County here from Powder Springs to the Joppa area and even Joppa Elementary 222. So that would probably still be within that warning time frame as it
Yeah.
goes until 245. So it's Union, North Knox, Granger County, and Southern Claiborne. That's
Yep.
who's included in the warning at this point till 245.
Right. And again, if you're down here from Knoxville, point south, you guys are good from this storm. You don't need to worry about this one. Maybe you still see some rain, but I think there's severe weather risk. Kind of wrapping up, this is the main area that, this line as it pushes through is going to be our main concern over the next few hours. But still just some broad rotation right now with those cells.
Yeah, the front's probably knocking on the door as we
Yeah.
speak, I'd say, to at least West Knox County. And once that pushes through, the fuel or the opportunity for these storms to develop and or strengthen will go away quickly.
Yep.
So that's why we're saying anybody basically west of Knox County now, you are free and clear from the storm threat for the rest of the day. You may see a random shower, but the storm threat will quickly diminish. So this is crossing right out of Lee County, Virginia, up into southeast Kentucky, almost into Harlan County. It's kind of right in that corner there. So still, look how fast that's moving, 52 miles per hour. So again, if there are any warnings that get issued with these, you need to go ahead and seek shelter because you're not going to have a lot of time.
Right.
Especially if you're just at the forefront of where that cell is moving into your area.
Yeah. But again, our severe thunderstorm warning does continue until 2:45. This cell kind of north of Maynardville looks like it's fallen apart on us a little bit, but we'll still keep watching this one, especially north of East Knox Elementary. Very heavy rainfall up there into Coreyton, and still the potential for maybe some weak rotation there.
It's right over House Mountain right now, near Hodgkins Road, there in Rutledge Pike. So it's literally right over House Mountain, that little indention area. So that's why we're keeping a close eye on this. I think what it's doing is these storms, it's not a perfect setup. It's not a perfect environment for these storms to develop or to become mature. So what they're doing is what we call cycling. They get strong, they kind of run out of energy. It'd be like if you're running a marathon, but you're sprinting sprinting about every other mile,
Right.
you're going to run out of fuel, and you have to slow down. And that's kind of what these storm cells are doing.
Right.
They get stronger, and then they kind of weaken just because there's not enough energy at this point for all these to stay together. And we're
Right.
fortunate that we don't. Otherwise, I think these would be very active across the
for
area.
sure. Especially if it was a little later in the afternoon,
Yep.
too, Ken, something we'd have to watch.
And we didn't have the morning rain.
Right.
But it was still pretty amazing. You know, we talked about this Monday and yesterday, how that opportunity for that moisture, that fuel to come back, it was that narrow window from mid-morning to mid-afternoon.
Yep.
And it's about right when it was.
Yeah.
The models did a very good job of forecasting that, but it wasn't the perfect ingredients to see a widespread severe weather outbreak.
Right.
Just maybe a few isolated cells, kind of like what we're seeing now.
And the Storm Prediction Center wound up shifting our risk slightly to the east, but I'd say, definitely east of I-75, still probably our better bet,
Yeah.
and that's matching up pretty good with what we're currently seeing. But of course, we wanted everybody to just be on the lookout because we did see those breaks of sunshine, and when that happens, we tend to be able to see a little bit of the energy, as Ken was talking about, and that gives us the chance to see some of these storms kind of fire up as we've been seeing them.
So there may again be some very small hail where those brighter colors were on the reflectivity map, but that again, it's not the main impact from these
Right.
storms. It's going to be damaging wind gust and possibly a quick spin up type tornado if we can see those wall clouds, we call them, lower just a bit. But that little appendage, again, looks kind of like a comma shaped right there. That's what you always have to watch for, is that little inflow area there. That's just to the west of Rutledge Pike. It's pretty close, if not right over the top of House Mountain as we speak. That's in northeast Knox County, kind of in the Coreyton community.
Right, and remember, if you're just joining us, that severe thunderstorm warning continues until 2:45. It does include part of Union, Granger, Knox County, as well as a small portion there of getting into Claiborne County as well. But if you're located in downtown Knoxville, anywhere south of Adrian Burnett Elementary, you are in the clear from the storm. Those are moving quite fast, so they're going to continue moving in the northeast there, maybe 50 miles per hour or so.
And it's running almost parallel there to Rutledge Pike, which is 11W, that line you see right there that runs between Blaine and Joppa as you go up towards Granger County. So that's kind of where it's paralleling right along that road. Kind of give you an idea. It's over near Circle Road right now, pushing northeast. Emory Road as you're going out of Knox County up towards Union County. That's kind of the area that we're talking about here at this point. But still, that little appendage, it's trying
Yeah.
to strengthen, to tighten up, but it's really kind of having a hard time doing it because, again, the environment is just not perfect for it, but there's
Right.
just enough that we need to just stay weather aware, as we've said. So this goes until 2:45, another
Yeah.
30 minutes. But we'll say, Victoria, downtown Knoxville, anywhere from 640 south and west, you're clear.
Yep, you guys are in the clear
They
now.
could almost trim that warning back just
Yeah.
a bit, but still, just know from Granger County northward, probably the biggest concern there.
Just something I want to watch here up a little further, kind of on the edge of our area. But
Yep, that's right on the Harlan County border with Lee County, Virginia. So we'll keep an eye on that one as well, showing at least maybe some upper level rotation with that. But that, again, a little far away from the radar site, so we'll watch it. But I'd still say if there are any major concerns, it's that one. It's right there, about to cross over the Granger, Knox, Union County border right now. So again, right along Rutledge Pike,
Yeah.
11W, just north of Circle Road, heading up towards the Blaine community.
let's look back at some of our shear markers there. Again, this is just telling us how the rotation is. Like Ken said, it kind of takes away some of the clutter. So, we're seeing some weak rotation right now. Looking at the radar, there is still a little bit of a comma shape going on that we'll have to keep our eyes on. Very heavy rainfall, though, right now over Emory Road and Circle Road, moving into Luttrell. Remember, this is going to be pushing northeast at about 50 miles per hour. And that severe thunderstorm warning does continue until 2:45. So the next places to be impacted would be over there near Joppa, maybe even getting close to the Beech Grove area. This additional cell that we had earlier back near Lickskillet, they've just trimmed it out.
It made sense.
Because it was kind of falling apart.
So yeah, that makes sense that they've trimmed that back a bit.
So again, the warning does continue until 2:45. Now it includes mainly Granger County and Union County, as well as getting into a small portion up there of Claiborne County near New Tazewell. Center of that storm kind of near Emory Road and Circle Road, right near Coreyton Elementary. Let's see if we're picking up on any other little hail there.
Not
Not
as much.
really.
No. So again, Knox County, you've been cleared.
Yep.
No longer in the severe thunderstorm warning. It's mainly going to be, as you can see, through portions of Granger County, East Union, and up into southern Claiborne County. Really, Victoria, it's just that one cell, one cell that we've been watching. Again, it's just about to cross over. It's literally on the border between Granger, Union, and Knox County, moving right along Rutledge Pike.
And I would expect to see some gusty winds. You mentioned, Ken, that we had some power outages.
Yeah, about 1,000 last time we checked from KUB. So not surprising, again, when we had 58+ mile per hour wind gusts down at the airport. It was with the same cell as it was tracking.
Luttrell and Blaine, as well as near Leah Springs. If you live in this area or anywhere to the north and east, going into the Lay School community, Elm Springs, you want to make sure you're inside. This storm does have a history of producing some very gusty winds, 50 mile per hour wind gusts or greater. So just keep that in mind as you go throughout the rest of, the next 30 minutes or so. Let's also take a quick look at our hail path. Not seeing as much hail. Looks like we may have seen some small-sized hail back near Adrian Burnett Elementary and also kind of near Alice Bell Elementary there as well. But at this point, that's not really what we're watching. I do want to take a quick look, though, and see how things are going over in Harlan, Kentucky. Slightly out of our, getting towards the cusp there of our viewing area. It's also on the edge of radar sites, so it can be a little bit difficult sometimes to see what's happening there. It's hard to determine whether it's best to use, the Morristown radar or the Jackson, Kentucky radar. But this is also a stronger storm. That VTI there kind of going up. They have not yet put a warning on that storm, but wouldn't be surprised to see if they do, because that storm also looks like it's got some very gusty winds as well as torrential rainfall there as well. But for East Tennessee, our only active severe thunderstorm warning right now continues to be this one north of Leah Springs, right kind of on Rutledge Pike, and it's producing torrential rainfall and could produce 60 mile per hour wind gusts or greater. Let's check out here one more time our velocities. You can see some broad rotation. Remember, what you would want to see if you were looking for a tornado would be a very close area of bright red and green, kind of looking like it's spinning, a comma. We do have some of those colors coming together, but this is just broad rotation at this point. Hold on here, let's switch this over. You can still see some of the shear there, though, in that area. I'm going to put a tracker on this. They're moving again about northeast, generally about 50 to 54 miles per hour, so really hauling. And you can see some of the locations here. We'll zoom in to give you an idea. Joppa being impacted about 225, Powder Springs 225, Sunset there at 227, and then looking at Washburn at about 2:29 p.m. Those are the locations that are next to be impacted by this cell. This is really the only cell at this point that has a warning on it that we're going to be keeping our eyes on. So any place really from Knoxville west, you guys are okay. We've got some heavier rain kind of down here near Calderwood over the spine of the Smokies, but doesn't look all too significant there. It's really right on the edge of the North Carolina border. But this is our severe thunderstorm warning. Still continues for parts of Union County as well as Granger County. It looks like they may have just gone ahead and dropped that warning there as well. Let's see if that is in fact the case. Looks like they have dropped that warning for those locations there. So no longer are they concerned about severe wind gusts in those areas. Still some very heavy rain though, and you can see as we've been kind of talking about, the rotation there has weakened at least slightly. But again, this storm's near Joppa Elementary. Looks like they did go ahead though and drop that severe thunderstorm warning for some of those areas. Let's just confirm that that is the case. They're also putting out a few severe thunderstorm warnings, it looks like, for portions of southeast Kentucky that we need to keep our eyes on. They've put them out to the north of us, but I also think they're about to put one out for this cell here in Harlan, Kentucky as well. Harlan, Leslie, and Letcher counties. Yep, they went ahead and put out a severe thunderstorm warning for those ones. So again, that's kind of on the edge of our area, getting into where the Tri-Cities would cover. But remember, we were watching this storm earlier. They did go ahead and issue that severe thunderstorm warning. That's for part of Harlan, Leslie, Letcher counties, as well as Perry County in southeast Kentucky. This storm is certainly one to watch. It's pretty hard to see sometimes on the radar. I'm going to switch here to the Jackson radar site just in a second so that you can get an idea. And this one definitely has, to me, a little bit of some tighter rotation. Give me 1 second. So again, they did go ahead and drop the severe thunderstorm warning that was in Knox County, Union County, Granger County, and now they've issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Harlan County in southeast Kentucky. Hold on 1 second there. So again, that is the new thunderstorm warning. If you're just joining us, they went ahead and dropped that severe thunderstorm warning for Knox County. They dropped it for Granger County, Claiborne County, as we still have the chance to see that storm continue here down near Maynardville and Utah as well, but it's just not expected to meet the severe threshold, which is 58-mile-per-hour wind gusts or greater. So those locations still going to see some very heavy rain near Joppa, but again, not expected to kind of recycle. They're not anticipating that storm, the National Weather Service, to strengthen. I do want to make sure, though, all of our friends in southeast Kentucky know about this storm. This is for Harlan, Kentucky, and this one does have the potential to see some rotation. I'm going to just switch back and forth between the radar sites. I think that the Jackson radar site may be a little bit better. Because of where that storm is located, we sometimes have to switch radar sites to see which radar is better able to pick up on the storm. But let's go over some locations here for this one that are being impacted. Golden Ash there at 227. We're also looking at Kitts coming in at 227. This storm has a lot of rain with it, but the biggest threat by far is going to be those damaging winds and the potential for an isolated spin up. You can see some of the shear here. Still pretty weak, but this storm definitely has shown a lot of wind gusts and wind potential, especially there near Harlan. If we go back over to our Jackson radar, this little upper level marker here indicates to me some upper level rotation. That means that the storm is rotating aloft, but it's not yet reached the ground. So something we're going to keep our eyes on with that storm there in Harlan, Kentucky. Again, that's for Harlan County, Kentucky, going into Letcher County, as well as Leslie County, kind of a little bit closer to the Tri-Cities locations. We're getting another alert from the Weather Service here. They have also gone ahead and issued a severe thunderstorm warning now for Laurel and Northwest Knox counties as well in southeast Kentucky. So very small portion here of Knox County, Kentucky has now been put under a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to switch out some of our radar sites. So looks like our best option here is going to be the Jackson radar. You can kind of see the difference when I toggle them on and off. One of them shows the brighter colors. It indicates to me it's picking up on that storm better. So again, Knox County, Kentucky, you guys are really on the edge of this storm. It's actually mainly located there in Laurel County, Kentucky. That's near Blackwater. This is a severe thunderstorm warning. It's 10 miles southeast of the London area. It's also moving northeast at about 45 miles per hour. We're going to be watching out for some 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with that cell. So we've got two severe thunderstorm warnings. This one's for Laurel, Knox, also getting into Clay County, Kentucky, which is not really our area. But again, Laurel County, Kentucky, and Knox County, Kentucky, under a severe thunderstorm warning until 3 p.m. this afternoon. In addition to that, we have this severe thunderstorm warning over in Harlan, Kentucky, and that continues for Harlan County, Kentucky, going into Leslie and Letcher counties. I would say that this is the stronger of the two severe thunderstorm warnings that we still have in place. Again, that's that one for Harlan County, Kentucky. I want to just take a look at our velocities here. Hold on so that you can see. There certainly is still some rotation there. Broad at this point, but definitely something you've got to watch. Now this reddish color that's coming up here, a little bit off to the east from where the heaviest rain is, but if you live in Harlan, Kentucky, or you know anybody that lives in that area to the north and east, they need to be in their safe space, as if any storm was going to spawn a tornado at this point, I'd say it would be this one near Harlan. So definitely make sure that if you're located in that area, that you are in your safe space there for that Harlan County, Kentucky storm. That is a severe thunderstorm warning that goes until 3:15 p.m. I want to kind of just pan down that one that was in Knox County, obviously out of our way there. Still watching some heavier rain though back near the Rutledge area. Let's turn back on our Morristown reflectivity. Still watching some heavy rain. This was the thunderstorm earlier that was near Knox County, as well as near going into portions of Claiborne and Granger counties. So it's kind of falling apart, but you guys still have some heavier rain near Joppa Elementary. So really from Blaine westward and southward, you guys should be in the clear from your severe weather risk there.
Yeah, we're just going to stay on air until basically the severe thunderstorm warning is out of Harlan County in our northern part of our viewing area, but it showed some signs of getting a little stronger, maybe one of the stronger cells we've seen so far today, Victoria.
I definitely agree, Ken. I think this is the one to watch. At one point, we had that upper level rotation marker coming on there. I keep kind of cycling between the two radar sites. That's a look at what it looks like on Morristown's. And I think Jackson's
going to be a better bet, yeah.
If we put a tracker on this again, though, those are some of the locations there. Kitts at 230, Rex at 230, Baxter at 231. This storm is moving really fast. Northeast at 52 miles per hour. Again, that's a severe thunderstorm warning for Harlan County, Kentucky. They did also put out this severe thunderstorm warning, Ken, that includes a very small piece of Knox County, Kentucky, but it's really for Laurel County,
Yeah,
Kentucky.
it's right on the border. Right there where it says Gibbs and Blackwater, that's the border of Knox County, Kentucky, and Laurel County. So it's not quite in our viewing area, but to be safe, if you live in Gibbs or Blackwater and you happen to be streaming us right now, just make sure you're in your safe area as well. But I'd definitely say the stronger of the two cells is that one that's in Harlan right now.
Definitely, Ken. And I've kind of been watching it, and there was, you can see a little bit of some stronger shear, but it's not perfectly located with where the heaviest rain is. So I would say the storm is probably rotating aloft, but you still want to keep your eyes on it. It's moving really fast, and it was likely going to be producing some pretty strong wind gusts there.
And we were looking earlier downstairs just a few minutes ago. We have had reports over 1,000 people without power in Knox County, about 500 in Monroe County, and a couple of hundred in McMinn County. And it's most likely from that same cell that had the warning earlier, right there, that has just expired, that's in Granger County. Still going to be some heavy rainfall with that right along Rutledge Pike. But the severe threat has diminished with it. So it's just east of Joppa Elementary now. It's north of that, near Beech Grove, Dotson, and just to the west of downtown Rutledge itself.
Yeah, and those locations can still have the chance to see some gusty winds, but again, not meeting that severe threshold. So the main storm we're keeping our eyes on is that one that's kind of on the edge of our viewing area. This is Harlan County, Kentucky, and
that's a Weather Service TDS. So, but that's still quite interesting that it's seeing, again, it's what's called a tornado vortex signature, fancy word, that basically it's seeing some rotation, mid-levels and upper levels. Maybe not quite so much at the lower levels, but again, we've been tracking that same cell, and again, that's probably the one that is the one worth watching. So we're near the Everett's community, Dillon, Big Laurel, right there. That's where probably the better opportunity, if we're going to see, maybe if there were a tornado, it would be somewhere right through there. So near the high school, Harlan County High School, pretty close to that.
And I mean, Ken, the rain is also torrential. So if you're located in this area and you got this alert, you're not going to see any sort of tornado if one were to form because the rain is quite heavy. But it is moving also really fast.
It is, and that's why we say don't wait. Go ahead and get in your safe area now if a warning is issued. Again, this goes until 3:15, so a little bit longer here, but won't be long before this is out of Harlan County. And once that is, we'll go ahead and sign off because it's technically out of our viewing area. But if you are in that area, Dillon, Big Laurel, up towards Dion, just make sure that you're in your safe area now. It's right along Highway 221, East Highway 221 right now. That's probably where the worst part of that cell is, but a little further south near Ages, that's where some of that rotation was showing up. That's some small hail that's probably been produced with that. But Ages to Everett's community, that's probably where our better opportunity, if we had any rotation, maybe if there was a lowering, it's probably right through there. But anywhere along that area, you need to make sure you're in your safe area. So we have a track on that so we can get some of the towns, some of the communities maybe, just so people are aware in case they're just joining us. So Ray about 234 right about now, Putney 236, Layden 238, Nolensburg 240, Big Laurel 241, and the Gilley community at 244. As again, this is racing north. You can see Big Laurel right up there at the top of your screen. It's estimated to be there at 241. That's just a few minutes from right now. That's 8 minutes away. So it shows how fast this is moving Victoria northeast at 54. And you see that little VTI that's in the bottom right-hand corner up there at the top of the screen. That's called a virtual threat index. We kind of keep an eye on that number. If we see it climb really high or we see it climbing as we go through time, that means that storm can be strengthening a little bit. 3.6, a little worrisome for this environment we have, but not overly concerning. If we were in that 5, 6, especially higher range, then we would be very concerned. But still, we don't want to underplay it. You want
Right.
to make sure you're in your safe area up there into Harlan County, Kentucky.
Definitely, and that's one of the stronger VTIs we've seen so far today, Ken.
Yes.
Most of them, especially when we had that storm down near Alcoa that gradually went into Knox County, they were about a 2.8, so a little bit of a stronger cell there. And you do want to make sure, as Ken mentioned, that you're still in your safe space. That severe thunderstorm warning goes until 3:15. Harlan, you guys are actually kind of almost out of it.
Yeah. So just a couple more minutes and we'll probably sign off, but we just want to make sure we're staying on until it gets out of our viewing area.
And remember, if you did get the alert for that severe thunderstorm warning for Knox County, Kentucky, it's really not quite in your area anymore. It's more by Blackwater and Bush, which is right on the edge there of Laurel and Clay counties in Kentucky. So anybody that lives kind of near the Crane Nest area, again, in Knox County, Kentucky, I would say they're probably in the clear. Ken.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I think this is going to miss Knox County, Kentucky, which is good.
Yeah.
So it's areas north of that. There's some worse weather, too, up northward into central Kentucky as you get up towards the Cincinnati area, some confirmed tornadoes there. But we want to point out that we're not expecting to see much more in our area as we go over the next, hour or two. It's mainly going to be north and east, Victoria.
Yeah. And it looks like that the VTI just went up a little bit there, Ken, in Harlan, Kentucky to a 6.4, which is quite interesting.
Yes.
That'll
See,
have to
that's,
be
again, we
something-
see that number, that's when we start to get a little concerned.
Right.
We just mentioned that a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
So please, Big Laurel, Divide, Delphia, make sure you're in your safe area.
Yeah, you definitely want to be inside.
This is probably the strongest part of a storm we've seen so far today. So kind of hard to say, but I'd say the rotation may be a little south of where that storm track is. So that's Highway 119. So we're just south of that. So south of Putney, south of Divide, between Benito, Everts, and the Dillon community up towards Tots and Gilley. That's kind of the area that we'd be most concerned with there. But basically anywhere in Harlan County right now that's north of Harlan proper, the city of Harlan. If you're north of Harlan, you need to still be in your safe area. But if you're in Harlan south, downtown Harlan, you are in the clear at this point. But yeah, that's definitely probably the strongest signal we've seen on one of these storms, Victoria, throughout the day today.
Definitely, Ken. And again, that's a severe thunderstorm warning for Harlan County, Kentucky, but there is the chance for a spin-up tornado with that cell, so make sure you're in your safe space. Ken mentioned some of the areas. I mean, it's torrential rainfall. Really, again, it's now north of downtown Harlan, so Dillon into Divide and Big Laurel. It's trying to exit Harlan County, but the storm's moving exceptionally fast.
Yeah, 54 miles per hour. So,
Yeah.
I would say, again, from where we are from Jackson's radar to where that rotation probably is, it could be right along Highway 119, pretty close to the Divide area. She has a hail path on here now, so it's had a history of some hail
Small hail.
as it's moved through, basically right along Highway 119. But for now, I would say the strongest part of that rotation could be right over 119, probably pretty close to the Dillon area, if not just north of that. So anybody north of especially Ray, Dillon, Divide, Big Laurel, Tots, Gilley, Delphia, make sure you're in your safe area, please.
And again, that severe thunderstorm warning goes until 3:15. Remember, we had the severe thunderstorm warnings earlier for parts of Knox County, Claiborne County, Granger County. Those have all since been allowed to expire. So this is our only severe thunderstorm warning that we're kind of tracking. It's right on the edge of where we are here in Harlan County, Kentucky.
And that VTI that we've been watching, it just cycled back down
Yep.
to a 3.8. So that's what we're talking about. It could have, in that one scan we saw, maybe cycled and maybe briefly had a lowering, possibly even a tornado, but maybe it's starting to recycle or weaken a bit just in this latest scan. But don't take your guard down at this point. But it's almost out of our Harlan County area at this point, Victoria.
Yeah, it's almost leaving there. I mean, you talked about, Ken, look how, I mean, just from when we've been on, it's gone from Harlan to Big Laurel. So it is moving exceptionally fast. I just want to give everybody a heads up that, if you live in Knox County, here we go, anywhere here, you're really on the quieter side for the rest of the afternoon. Maybe some isolated showers, but nothing like what we were seeing here with the severe thunderstorm potential.
Yeah, I think we're basically done from Knox County westward, very slim chance east.
Yes.
Just because that front keeps pushing through, we're almost done. But that one in Kentucky, right over Dillon right about now, interesting, worth watching for sure there.
and still seeing just some broad rotation. You can see again the reds and greens coming together. Remember, we were watching that earlier on some of those cells that were located near Granger County, but it wasn't quite as bright, the coloring. Now, we are still a little bit far away from the radar site, but I do think this has been one of our stronger storms. Looks like it has a history of producing at least some small-sized hail. That purple color would be the hail path, anywhere that hail could have been deposited from this cell. I mean, torrential rainfall, wind gusts 60 miles per hour or greater. It also looks like they may be issuing a tornado watch further up north, not really in our area in Kentucky there.
Yeah, it does. It looks like it's going to go basically from Pittsburgh to south of Cleveland to include Charleston, West Virginia, and extreme northeastern Kentucky. So, yeah, that's out of our viewing area. None of our viewers will be impacted by that. But they're probably because of this one cell that's tracked all the way.
Yeah.
We've seen it make its way through Monroe County,
Yeah.
all the way up through Blount County at the airport, had a 58 mile per hour gust, came over downtown Knoxville,
Yep.
had some power outages in and around Knox County. And again, that darker black you're seeing, that's most likely hail, again, showing up right across that area. So this is hail from the past 30 minutes is what we're looking at, a path. And you can see it's followed right along Highway 119
Yeah.
there into Harlan County. So easily some hail with that. Could be some winds gusting 60 plus miles per hour. And of course, we've seen that possibility of rotation
Yeah.
with that earlier. Don't know what our back to a 3.8. So again, it's like we've been saying, it's cycling up and down,
Right.
almost out of Harlan County. So we're
Yeah.
almost ready to give Harlan County the clear.
Yeah, and
at
it would
this
be
point.
moving into Perry County. You know, Leslie County, Kentucky, you guys are under the warning, but the brunt of this storm, the center there, has really been in Harlan County, Kentucky. So if you live in Big Fork, you're probably seeing some very heavy rain, but the center of that storm is not expected to move into your area. It's going to keep that northeasterly track. So Perry County, Kentucky would be the next ones to be impacted. Let's kind of track some of these locations for you. Again, Slemp there at 248, Wentz 250, and again, that's already going into Perry County, Kentucky. But this has been our strongest of the cells. You can see some broad rotation there as well, something they're going to have to keep watching. They may have to actually expand that severe thunderstorm warning past Perry County, Ken, if it keeps holding.
They most likely will. This one goes, until 3:15? I would bet any minute they will push that north. A little further to the south, we're just keep an eye into Claiborne County. Those cells that are north of New Tazewell, not quite as potent as they were earlier. That's why there are no warnings on them, but certainly could be some 30 mile per hour wind gusts near Poplar Grove, Gibson Hall, and some heavy rainfall as well. Alanthus Hill, that's kind of pushing in your direction. Raven Hill, seeing some heavy rain there into Claiborne County, moving up towards Big Creek. But that is not severe Victoria, which is good.
Right. And that was kind of that secondary cell in the severe thunderstorm warning that's just kind of fell apart a little bit there. Still the opportunity for maybe a hit or miss shower or two this evening. But again, severe weather for most of our area is going to be kind of wrapping up here as that front continues to push through. This would have been our opportunity to see any strong to severe storms. And so that's what we're kind of going to just be keeping our eyes on. Let's go back over to Jackson for a second so we can check on our Harlan County, Kentucky friends. And
Yeah, that's really is the last gasp for that cell as it's moving northeast at 54 miles per hour, so not much longer.
And you see the VTI has cycled back up a
Cycled
little.
back up. And again, we're kind of in a mountainous area right there, right on the Harlan County, Lee County, Virginia border. Of
Yeah.
course, if you're from there, you know, very mountainous. Can play interactions with those rotations a lot of times when those cells move through. Sometimes it can enhance the rotation, sometimes it can diminish
Yep.
the rotation, just depending on the exact trajectory of how that ridge or a mountaintop runs. But could have an impact on kind of what we're seeing here now.
Yeah, so definitely something they're going to have to keep watching as they go into the rest. Looks like they finally did cut off some locations there. So again, Harlan, you guys are out of the severe thunderstorm warning, as we've been saying. They're just going to keep it in for this small portion of Harlan County, going into Letcher County and Perry County, Kentucky there. Wherever you see the purple and the black color, that's torrential rainfall, but likely also at least some sort of hail there developing. And you can see that path that the storm has took. Let's shift back down here near that Hopewell area. And yeah, just some rain at this point over in those locations.
Doesn't look as bad as it did earlier, thankfully. So yeah, I'd say at this point, we'll do one more maybe track on this cell, just so kind of people know, because it really is almost out of Harlan County. Still showing us 6.4, so still of a concern, but again, it's almost out of our viewing area at this point. But
Right.
if you do know somebody that's north of
in
the
Perry
Harlan County,
County.
Perry County, make sure that you call them so they're aware of what's kind of coming their way. Banks
Right.
community here at 250, Skyline 251, Blackie 255, Roxana 255 as well,
Yeah.
as that's moving to the north and east. But I tell you what, I
Do
think
a
we'll.
scan to kind of push it a little further.
It did. So we'll go ahead and sign off here on WAT.com and here on our app. We'll join you, of course, starting at 4 o'clock for WAT 6 on your side news. But by then, our severe threat is basically over with,
Right.
which is good.
Yes. So make sure you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Again, if you know anybody in Kentucky, just give them a heads up on the weather, and we will see you